Good morning. Welcome to Evangeline Mornings. I'm Nancy Kay. We're going to have a great show with us today. First guest is photographer of Malerie Malerie Veillon. Thank you for being with us today, Malerie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
Right. So tell us about yourself first. Like, what made you get into photography, and where are you from?
Well, I'm born and raised here in Evangeline Parish. I grew up in Vidrine. I went to Vidrine. I graduated from Mamu High School. I kind of feel like I want to say I'm born with a camera in my hand. I remember being the little kid, like going to 4-H camp and things like that. And I always had like those disposable film cameras.
Oh yeah, I did too. I went to 4-H camp too. I loved it.
And yeah, and like doing scrapbooks and things like that. And I remember specifically like posing some of my friends to, like, you know, those trick photos, like where someone's in the foreground who looks bigger than the person way in the back and looks like they're holding them there, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember doing fun stuff like that, and it just kind of stayed with me. I bought my first DSLR whenever the summer after I got married, which is almost 12 years ago now, and we moved to Florida. I went to physical therapy school, and I trained I just taught myself the whole time throughout PT school. It was like that.
You taught yourself what, photography on the side? Okay.
Yeah. I just took a ton of courses and like practiced a bunch and learned everything that I, wanted to learn then. And it wasn't until we came back and then I was working as a physical therapist and I started this side business, shooting family photography, and that was really the beginning, I guess, of the business. So it's come a long way since then.
Well, when did you start doing it professionally?
That was about 4 years ago. I remember my daughter was not a year old, and she's 5 now. So, oh my God, I remember going through all of the mental, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is this good? Is this bad? Am I supposed to be doing this? I remember going to talk to the priest, Father Guidry, asking, like, how am I supposed to know if this is like, I feel like God's telling me, like, giving me permission to do this. And
right.
I remember exactly what he said. He was like, if it feels easy and like taking the next step feels easy, then it's definitely something that God is leading you to. And that's what it felt like then, because it felt like every next thing that I need to learn, that opportunity just presented itself. Like, there's no way I could have like gone out and sought that information. It just came to me.
I've had that same experience. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I was offered a pretty good job before, and something just didn't feel right about it. Like, that's not my path. And then I finally found, my path. So that's great. So what are your normal clientele? Like, you said you do family photography, and what other kind of photography do you do?
Mainly what I shoot is branding photography for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And mostly it's people in the health and wellness space, because that's
you have a
where
background.
I come from. Yeah, exactly. So those are primarily the people that I work with, and it's mostly like online coaches, health coaches, mindset coaches, spirituality, and
nice.
Yeah. So it's really fun. Like, my favorite thing about it is taking their message, like the message of their business, which is usually something that's intangible. It's not like they have a product that they can show, right? Taking that message and creating an image that demonstrates that message. Not just one image, obviously, but creating something that they can use that's going to strengthen their message because so much is online now.
Yes.
So they have to be able to show who they are and what they're doing and what they stand for, and creating images that help them create more clarity in their message has been really fun. Like, I get to do the creative side of it and some strategic planning and things like that.
Sounds like it's a lot of creativity that you have to put into it, because you're basically making their ad design more or less, with the photography part anyway, not like the video, but photography part. You said you tried video before and it wasn't for you.
I dabbled in video last year. I took a really amazing course and did all those things, and it wasn't very fun. Like, it's not the thing that, like, I found myself like dreading having to go and edit and dreading having to sit at the computer forever. Like, I am the person who wants to shoot film. Not sit forever in front of my computer. Why would I ever go into shooting video? It was like a tangent. It was one of those things that
it was a little too tedious.
It was,
and too technical, and
it was having to learn a whole new skill, but realizing that that one thing was not the thing that like lights me up, and if it's not lighting me up, then I shouldn't be doing it.
That's very smart of you to say that. I mean, so is that kind of the advice that you would give to other people who maybe want to try going for their passion and, you know, seeing where they are as opposed to what they want to do? If it lights you up, you know, then it's right for you.
Yeah. If you, so much of my journey and understanding why the heck I wanted to do this, why I wanted to stop working as a physical therapist and do this instead whenever it seemed like such a long-winded and harder path to go down. Like, I've had to do a lot of internal work to figure that out. And a lot of it was, what is the thing that makes my heart beat, really? And following that and trusting that because of that feeling, that is God saying, look, I gave you this gift. This is what you're here to bring to the world. And it was like permission to take those steps.
Very good.
So I think it's hard for people to do that, though, because so much of society is you have to get a good job and you have to like do something that's going to bring you stability and certainty and have a 401k and have insurance and all that stuff. And when you go into business for yourself, that's not the case, right?
No, it's not. And also not everyone fits into that mold. And that's great for some people, but other people, they're just built a different way and they do not get joy out of that kind of 9-to-5 lifestyle. Like, they need flexibility, they need creativity, and you know, we need all kinds of people in the world. But I like what you say, if it lights you up, then you know it's right for you. But certainly you would recommend having something to fall back on, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to neglect that part because
that is good advice. And it's also, whenever you go all in and believe in yourself and take the steps to make it happen and trusting 100% that it's going to happen if you're in that aligned action.
There's a synchronicity. Yeah,
it's
just
kind of like walking
up
a line between going all in and having a backup plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of courses did you take to learn all your photography?
Oh, man.
Were you just learning yourself on your own, reading books, or did you took some specialized classes though, right?
Right.
Online maybe? Or?
I did.
Okay.
And there are so many communities now to learn photography, to learn any skill. Like, there's so much online that anyone who wants to get into photography or videography or anything else, there's so many places to learn that online.
Yes.
12 years ago, I started with some of my favorite photographers' books that they had written. Like Joe McNally and Chris Orwig, and then as things moved to more online, I found photographers that I really resonated with their style and their message and the way that they create something, like especially for families, and then for branding and things like that. And I knew there came a point where I knew how to create a good technical image, like it was exposed correctly and all that, the light was good and all that stuff, and I couldn't really get at that point, it's like I couldn't get the emotion, like I couldn't get the feeling that I wanted. I couldn't create the emotion of what I wanted that person to show in that photo, and that's life coaching. I trained as a life coach, so I'm certified as an integrative life coach, and that was just because, like, for my own personal transformation. But going through that process and really getting in touch with what are emotions, and like realizing that I had never really let myself feel. So going through that process of like opening that can of worms of all of the emotions and what feels good to me and what do I want to create, that's what really brought that aspect into the work that I'm doing now.
I think that's very important that you said that, because I think as a society we're told, don't show your emotions. You know, you have to be strong. You don't show your weakness or anything else. But part of that vulnerability and that emotion, that's what brings out the artistry in work, in any kind of creative work, that brings out the artistry. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And of course, studying photographers that you've liked and seeing their work and how they capture an image, because all art, you really want to study the ones you admire the most, you know. And then after a while, you develop your own little, techniques, so you're not really copying them. You're just kind of getting your own feel and bringing your own personal experience into it, and it creates something magical. Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break real quick. We're going to come back and talk to Malerie with Malerie V. She's our photographer. I keep wanting to say Malerie V Photography, but it's just Malerie V.
Well, that's the name of the business, but I mean, my brand is just me. Like, I am the brand. So
Yeah,
it's just Mallory.
I like that. Okay, we'll be right back with Malerie V after this on Evangeline Mornings on UGN's Louisiana Television.
Be strong and courageous. That's the message Jesus has for you if you're injured or ill. Keep your eyes on Christ and let us at Fontenot Physical Therapy and Fontenot Physical Therapy West help you run the race. Fear is useless. Just trust in Jesus and let us help you have hope in your future. Have a happy new year and God bless you.
Hey, you can check out Louisiana Television on UGN Broadcasting by downloading the app on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and all mobile devices. From Mardi Gras to Gumbo, Zydeco, and our 400 festivals, what other state can you go in and see a world of yesterday and today in the same blink of an eye? From LSU sports to Bayou Classic, Creole Cajun cuisine, Louisiana Television has it all. And we're proud of Louisiana Television and Louisiana Now.
Welcome back to Evangeline Mornings. I'm Nancy Kay, and we're joined by Malerie V, our famous local photographer, I should say. You're getting famous. I think you're getting a lot of recognition. I like what you said a little while ago, that you're the brand. You're Malerie V, the brand. So you're representing yourself, so it's not just photography. Eventually you could branch out to something else, but you'll always be Malerie V. So I like that. But you're Veillon.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
But I guess not too many people across the country know how to pronounce Veillon anyway, right?
That's exactly why the name is Malerie V, because I feel like Malerie is kind of hard to spell. So to put Malerie Veillon on a website, like, that's going to challenge people to get there. So I just shortened
It will. I know. I just use my middle name as my last name because I'm really a Duplichamp, but that's too many syllables, and people think it's Duplichain, and that's it. No, just K. That's fine. It's my middle name anyway. So tell us a little bit about what was the thing that's helped you the most in your business?
Hands down, the thing that helped me the most was working with a coach, working with a mentor who could help me stay accountable to what I said I was going to do, and holding the belief in myself. Because, you know, especially leaving a good career and starting over fresh with something brand new, totally different, that seems like it would be unstable or unsure, like there's no solidity in it, or some people think anyway. It's scary, and it's hard, and moving from that employee mindset to now I'm the business owner, and now everything is on my shoulders. Everything is 100% my responsibility. There's no one else to account, you know, to tell me what to do, and there's no one else telling me, okay, today you're going to do this, this, and this, and like, it's all on me. And especially whenever there's other people that are confused about what I'm doing, and I don't really have all the answers either. It took a lot of work, and having a coach there to bring me back to why I started, get clear on what the vision is and what steps I need to take to move forward, and keep moving forward even when it got hard, and even when it got really scary, and even whenever I thought I had messed something up. That's been the most profound experience for me.
That's wonderful.
I still work with her, so it's paying off.
Yeah.
Big
So
time.
because you had such a great experience with a mentor and life coach, that's why you decided to get into life coaching as well, to help others. And
No, actually, the training was just for my own personal growth.
And has it helped you a lot?
Yeah. Oh my God! Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't kind of broken down the walls that I had put around myself and the labels that I had put on myself. If I hadn't broken through that by going through the deconditioning and the coaching process, I wouldn't be.
You had to find your own inner coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that.
That's great. That's great. And so when it comes to your clients, what are some of the hesitations they might have with working with you or working with a photographer?
For my clients specifically, they're it's usually women. They're in business. They are putting themselves out there online on social media, and they are basically doing what I've been doing, like trying to tell people, hey, I can help you. And the biggest thing is getting themselves in front of the camera.
I understand that.
Yeah, I do too. And that's why I attract those people, I guess, because it's my own work as well. But it's so much of it is letting people see you and getting yourself in front of the camera, and then being able to see yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to be in business, period.
Yes.
But it takes a lot of courage to get in front of the camera and to do all of those things, and to say, this is my message, this is who I am, this is what I do, and then having that reflection back at yourself. Yeah. I think that's the majority of the people that I work with. That's their biggest hesitation.
How do you work with them on that to get them more comfortable in front of the camera?
Well, what I'm doing is focusing on their message. So there's so much pre-planning ahead of the photo shoot, is, consulting on what is your message and breaking it down, and breaking down, these are the stories that we're going to tell, and we're going to set up with these photos, because it's not, branding photography is not just taking pretty pictures and posting them online.
Right.
It's these photos have to carry your message forward. They have to do the heavy lifting, especially like on social media. They have to stop someone from scrolling,
right.
But they also have to put the message out there to get someone to stop and read all of the caption that you wrote. So there's so much planning that goes into it on the forefront. I think that gives them a big courage boost to get there. And then I do all of this setting everything up, as far as, they do their hair and makeup, but they show up. A lot of times I work with a style coach who trained with me. So she's a personal style and image coach, and she has them dressed and ready to go, and they feel great whenever they show up, even if they're a little bit nervous. But everything turns out, once they get their photos back, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I looked like that. Or, oh, I didn't realize that my message was this powerful. And then that gives them the confidence to get out there.
That must be such a good feeling, that you could bring that out into your clients and give them a little more confidence and help them with their brand. That must be a really good feeling.
And it's like listening to their message and hearing what they're doing for people out in the world, like that, it really inspires me. And it's kind of helps me realize more that I've taken my hands-on approach to helping people to it's like a backseat approach to helping people. It's still getting the same message of health and wellness out there. It's just helping people do it on a different level, like a different scale, I guess you could say. So their message inspires me, and then I get to help them. I get to help reflect that back to them, and then when they can see themselves, it's like it's really powerful.
I agree. I think that's really powerful. Now, do you ever collaborate with others?
Yeah, all the time. I've mentored with other local photographers who have helped me a ton. That's another thing. Like, if anyone's going to be in business, they have to have a group of people who, whether they're in the same kind of business as them or not, like people who are doing the same thing, who understand the challenges, who are there to support them, who are there to let them vent all the frustrations. Because people who are not doing this for themselves, it's a different ballgame, and they may not understand. So I definitely have a huge group of other photographers and other coaches and other mentors that we talk about the struggles of being in business all the time. And if I didn't have that, if I was doing this by myself, I don't think I could continue.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It definitely helps to have others who know exactly what you're going through. Yeah. So I like that. So what have been some of the highlights of your career as a photographer?
Traveling to different areas for other coaches who are hosting retreats, and them inviting me to come and photograph their clients there, and the retreat itself, and the work that they're doing with people, and then seeing those people take the photos that we've created and put them out into the world and help people like individually. It's amazing.
Where's the farthest you've traveled?
Last year, I haven't gone really far, but last year I went to Florida, and then we had a couple of retreats at the beach in Gulf Shores.
Can I be a photographer? Like, can I just go travel and go to the beach?
Sure, go ahead.
I would like to do that.
I think that's what my husband thinks my plan is, just to just to go travel and photograph. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of it, but there's more to it than that.
Oh, I know there's more to it. And, funny thing, my dream job was always, when I was growing up, like a photojournalist for National Geographic, just like to travel the world. That's what I wanted to do, because my dad had all these National Geographic, he collected those. I would look at all of these pictures, say, man, I want to do that. I want to go all over and just take pictures. But then you grow up and realize, man, there's a lot to that. Like, you really do have to work. It's not just going to a pretty setting and taking your pictures.
And then leaving.
And then
leaving. You camp out there for like weeks at a time to get the shot that landed in the magazine.
Exactly.
But I had the same visions. I saw the same things.
So what else should people know about your business?
I think, like I mentioned before, branding photography is more than just a pretty picture. I think there's so much potential here in Evangeline Parish, especially with the newer businesses that are coming up and that we don't necessarily see because they're all online. They don't necessarily have a storefront.
Right.
But there's so much that goes into creating the message that you have to be solid in your message, and your photos have to reflect that.
Yes, very good. And before we leave, how do people get in touch with you?
My website is www.maleriev.com. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Malerie V. We appreciate you and can't wait to see how far you're going to go, because I love your business philosophy, and I've seen some of your pictures before on your website. Very nice.
Thank you.
Hope you'll be back again soon.
Thanks.
All right. We'll be back right after this on Evangeline Mornings on UGN's Louisiana Television.
Hi, I'm Stephen Crater. I work for Cajun Broadband because I choked on a hot dog. I was heading out of the job in the morning, stopped at the Sunset Liquor Store, grabbed me 2 hot dogs, started driving. A piece of hot dog got stuck in my throat right here. I actually had to go to the hospital, and they had to stretch my esophagus. With my previous employer I was working with at the time, I called them and told them I was going to go to the doctor. The guy asked me to bring a doctor's excuse. It was a big kick to the stomach for me, so I just said, okay, I'll bring you a doctor's excuse, and I quit. And that's whenever I called up Cajun Broadband, told them my situation, and they said, come on down. And we've been hammering out ever since. Each one of my technicians takes pride in their work. It's more of a personal connection between the technician and the customer. So one of my customers called me up. His father was getting into hospice. He had his own house. He had some family members coming down. At his father's house, he had no internet service. So we went ahead, I did a partial install, just put a pipe in the yard, put a dish up, ran internet service to his dad's house for the family members that came down to spend the final days with him. At no charge to the customer, we're actually able to help out people when we can. With the big box companies, you're gonna have to go through all the stuff, get with a dispatcher, line up a technician, do the full install, and get charged an arm and a leg just for 2 weeks of service. That just made our day, just to help out.
Hey, I'm Nancy Kay. You're watching Evangeline Mornings on UGN's Louisiana Television. And joining us now is Santangelo Wilson, Pastor San of New Beginnings Community Outreach. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself, first of all.
So I am originally born in Mamou, Louisiana, raised in the great city of Ville Platte.
You were a Green Demon?
No, born there, but raised in Ville Platte.
Okay.
So I was a bulldog.
So you were a bulldog. Okay, I like that.
But eventually moved to California, and I've been gone for maybe 10 years,
Wow.
or longer. And
Where in California?
And so I was in a little suburb called Walnut Creek, and near San Francisco.
Okay.
And so eventually, after of learning and just gathering so many things to bring back home, I drove all the way down back to my little Ville Platte to see some amazing things happen right here for a new beginnings.
Right. Well, how long have you been back?
So about a month now.
So you're brand new back.
Brand new
Okay.
back.
I've been back for a few years. I was in LA, but I've been back for, I won't even say how long. I've been back longer than I lived there, so it's been a while. So how did you get into New Beginnings?
So about a year ago, my uncle was ill, and I came to assist my uncle. And the people just was excited about something new in the community. And so that 6 months, the church was maybe not many there, grew with young people. And so I left, went back home, went back to California, and came back. And just now it's just opportunity for a new beginning is on the horizon. So
it's a perfect phrase for it, then, New Beginnings.
So it's amazing to see something new in Ville Platte.
Right. So what does New Beginnings do? It's a community outreach. It's a church. So what all do y'all do?
New Beginnings is a community program, outreach programs to see new beginnings in every area, not only in the Christian aspect of life, but in every area of life, that we would see success and abundance. I believe that there's so much poverty in Ville Platte. Yes. And the Word of God tells us that to rid the poor out of the hand of the wicked. And I believe that He has given us power. He has blessed our hands to give us power to get wealth. And so I believe that great wealth can come through Ville Platte.
I should hope so, because it was always such a lovely little town, growing up, and then it's just fallen as our industries have left throughout the years. Because I was fascinated to know that we had a cannery at one time. We had several movie theaters, and it was a lot bigger. But then progress and things change, and then it goes down. And I see a lot of people in Ville Platte and Evangeline Parish as well, trying to build up the communities again to what it used to be. So I'm glad that you guys are doing the same thing. And you were telling me you have a cleanup project going on, right?
Yeah, so here in the community, we're doing a community redevelopment, cleaning up the whole from Cotton and Dr. Carver Street on that whole entire block, redeveloping that to where that will be a New Beginnings project here in the community. So all last year at this time, there were some abandoned houses and some rural areas, and so we're cleared up almost all the abandoned houses are gone. And so it's exciting to see the transformation, not just speaking about the power of God, but seeing the power of God. And it takes only one person to have a vision or a mindset to want to see change, you know. Everybody may not want change, but it just takes one person with a heart. I believe Dr. Martin Luther King had a heart for change.
Yes.
And he did change the world,
Yes.
So imagine what just one person can do when their hope comes alive. And that's what bringing hope alive right here in Ville Platte. And so I'm excited that, somebody may see this. I believe that it's the prayer to many people in this community to see that one area in Ville Platte come to life.
I agree. And I know a while back in the Woods area, they had a big community cleanup. So I'm glad it's becoming citywide. I noticed a lot of pocket areas in the city are doing this community cleanup, and they're trying to revamp everything. And I know going to city council meetings, they're working on blighted properties and tearing, all these old abandoned homes down that are just, rotting or turning into, like drug houses and things. We don't need that in our community. Tall grass and everything else. So I'm really glad that there are a lot of people working on beautifying their neighborhoods and their communities.
Mr. Ellis Guillory heard me preaching a revival outside. The first week I was here, and he opened up his abandoned building that was closed down for a few years on Pine Point Road. And so we're now holding services there every Sunday in that old wash and tear laundromat here in Ville Platte on 6452 Pine Point Road.
Okay.
We're holding Bible study on Wednesdays and Sunday services at noon. There in an old wash and tear, we were able to transform it to make it look and beautify it. Whenever I was presented to the building, you couldn't see it. There was so much grass.
I know, right? It's amazing what just a little lawnmower weed eater can do,
And all parking lot covered, the concrete was covered in grass. So it's amazing to see that now, all that ash, that concrete come back.
What a little elbow grease can do to beautify a neighborhood. So what made you want to become a pastor?
It was just I believe that the call of God on my life for years. Even as I grew older, I wanted to stay in California.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. Yeah.
But being called, it takes faith.
Yes.
To come back to Ville Platte to see basically preaching to the cemetery and expecting a valley of dry bones come to life. And the Bible says, can these dry bones live?
I love that metaphor. I really do. Yeah, that's very perfect. So you've kind of always had that in you?
It increased daily.
It increased.
But I've always had a heart for the community, for the people, because they lead the poor and the needy is the heart of God.
Right. And what kind of experiences have you taken from living across, the country and bringing that back here?
One of the things that I've really is resources for the needy, and then also technology. Technology is one way that the world turns on technology.
Yes.
And so I believe that Ville Platte is a little behind in some ways in technology. I know I can't go everywhere, use Apple Pay.
Yeah, I know, right?
And so speaking with people back in California, they was like, well, you just continue to go there and do some new things, and eventually different things will be added or follow. And so it's amazing by just, spreading hope, getting some people to hope again, getting people to believe that change is really possible.
Right.
And then when you believe something, when there's faith comes alive, anything can happen in Ville Platte.
Yes, absolutely. You talked about poverty here in the city, and it certainly exists. And I think a lot of people turn a blind eye to it. But when you and I have lived in larger cities or akin to larger cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, you see poverty on a daily basis. It's right in your face. These homeless people. And I love the little homeless guy who lived next to me because he had chickens behind the gas station. He would offer me eggs. And he was cool. I liked him. But we would see, that, and over here it seems hidden, because we stay to like Main Street and and all that, and we don't see the other neighborhoods. So
kind of goes forgotten.
Right, they become forgotten.
Kind of goes forgotten. I've seen pictures where there was a lot of people in Ville Platte one time. The streets were full.
Yes.
At the age I was looking at over pictures, and the population was even larger. And so it's like, now what can be done in Ville Platte to bring that restoration? And so I believe that God is building up and raising up an army of people that will become entrepreneurs. And so New Beginnings Community Church is a place that will create jobs for people. Not only be a church and concerned about your spiritual life, but your physical, or economically, emotionally. What are you doing to progress? How are you progressing? And how can we help you become a better person than you were in every area of your life? And not just preaching to you Jesus, but showing you the power of God.
Yes, I think that's very important. And I love what you said about creating jobs as well. Because I know when I was growing up here, we had a population of about 10,000 or so. Now it's a little over 7,000. Wow. So a lot has, changed from, I was a kid a long time ago, but a lot has changed. And a lot of the reasons why Ville Platte specifically is suffering as far as finances, because a lot of people move outside of city limits. And so we lose those property taxes.
Completely died off.
Yeah, that too. Because it was an elderly community, and not a lot of young people come here. They're trying to attract more young people here. But a lot of them who have maybe better jobs, they build nice homes and they move out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, the city's hurting because of lack of property taxes, and so we don't have as many services. We don't have as many police as we need. And so forth. So I'm really glad that New Beginnings and other organizations like you are working on bettering people in the community. I want to talk to you a little bit more. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Pastor San. You're watching Evangeline Mornings on UGN's Louisiana Television.
Hey, you can check out Louisiana Television on UGN Broadcasting by downloading the app on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and all mobile devices. From Mardi Gras to Gumbo, Zydeco, and our 400 festivals, what other state can you go in and see a world of yesterday and today in the same blink of an eye? From LSU sports to Bayou Classic, Creole Cajun cuisine, Louisiana Television has it all. And we're proud of Louisiana Television and Louisiana Now. Before John DeVille and his staff can unlock the doors, there's a gathering outside of the Cajun Catfish Steakhouse and Buffet, 1452 Highway 167 North, Ville Platte, Louisiana. His staff would like to invite you in for a dining experience you won't forget. From fruits and salads made fresh every day to a spacious environment to stretch your legs out and loosen your belt loop. Enjoy Central Louisiana's best in seafood and steak. The Cajun Catfish Steakhouse and Buffet, 1452 Highway 167 North, Ville Platte, Louisiana.
Welcome back to Evangeline Mornings. I'm Nancy Kay. We've been talking with Pastor Santangelo Wilson of New Beginnings Community Outreach, and we've been talking about all the good things New Beginnings is doing for the community as far as cleanup, and you want to create jobs, and I think that's wonderful. Now, how does New Beginnings get funded?
And so right now we're a 501c3, and I am just believing God that as we continue to build and put it all together, that I have different projects that I'm working on from in California, hopefully locally, and just sharing abroad with different supporters that will become supporters eventually and partners in different ministries or other 501c3 companies that will partner with us to help us make transformation happen in the community.
That's good, and I was actually going to ask you about that. Do you work with other outreach groups? And you just said that you do. So who else do you work with?
And so right now we're still looking for connections and fellowships in the local area, but there New Beginnings Community Church here in California. My pastor, Pastor Superintendent Keith Williams in Oakland, California. And then we're also affiliated with Acts for Gospel, Bishop Bob Jackson. His church holds about 64,000 people.
Oh, wow.
That's in Oakland, and it's a whole estate.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so it's amazing. Bishop Bob Jackson and my pastor has a re-entry program in California, in Oakland, where men that have been incarcerated get out, have a second time at life.
That's
and
great.
They have a called Man of Valor. And so hopefully one of these days, something in Ville Platte, we would have those type of things, even homeless shelters or tutoring programs for the kids, different things like that that would be funded even by, hopefully, we will get connections that the government would assist a lot of things as well. We also have Target and Walmart and Starbucks and all these different places that eventually I believe in God that one day, just one day, maybe we may have those kind of resources and stores in Ville Platte.
Right. I know some places, Walmart, I know for sure they have grants, so you can file grants for them. I'm sure Target does too, and these other places. Do you ever apply for any grants?
Well, I was told also concerning not just grants, but even for like events, to bring events, to help with bringing young folks back to Ville Platte, help bringing traffic back here would be to have events, large events.
Yes.
With maybe Kirk Franklin, a lot of, different people like that. And what happens is Starbucks, Target, McDonald's will pay for advertisement dollars.
Nice. I didn't know
that.
Them
to bring that here, to bring that energy, to bring that business. To support other businesses in the area. So that would be exciting. Hopefully that's one of the future goals of New Beginnings Community Church.
I didn't know they did that. I think that's a great idea. I love that these big corporations are giving back to to the community. That's really good. So what kind of challenges does New Beginnings face?
And so being in a place where there's a lack of technology, implementing that and starting a new beginnings, building from ground up, is totally faith. I don't think I'd be here if I was relying on a particular person or thing, but I'm totally trusting God. And so with that, it's like, it seems like an impossibility. I'm facing a brick wall or preaching to a valley of dry bones, expecting them to come back to life. So really it takes faith, and I believe that where there's lack of faith, it's like, God help my unbelief. But I believe that somebody's hope can be restored. So it's like, the challenge is how can you restore hope in a place where there is no hope?
Right.
How do you restore hope? Where how do you teach somebody faith when I haven't seen faith really at work?
Right, right. And do you think that's a problem today? I'm not necessarily saying Ville Platte. I'm just saying a lot of maybe ministers or preachers or priests or whoever, they talk about it, but they don't put it into action.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that's what New Beginnings comes in. Where's our advantage? Because as a young person, he calls the young because we are strong. And I believe that what they have done, many of the older pastors and older elders have done, many of them have gone on, many of their members have gone on. And so now I believe that God is raising up that generation that would come and be that, that transformation, be that manifestation of visible faith and not just talk.
Right. I think that's very important to show up in the community, and especially for young people. When today it seems like there's so much apathy involved in young people, and to actually get them to do something besides looking at their phones. Of course, looking at their phones now can help when they can get on social media and say, hey, come help our community clean up or do this and that.
And so that's it's one of the advantages that you have with social media technology.
And what do you love the most about what you do?
And so it's just seeing hope come alive. It's seeing working on the community project, is seeing people pass by and says, I've been praying they would do something with this, and I've been praying this.
And their prayers are being answered.
Restore this building, I'm gonna come to your church.
Nice. I like
so seeing that hope, seeing that excitement, seeing that joy, and some people don't say much; it's just like watching, to see. And that's what I believe. People may never come to your church; they may never read the Bible, but they will read your life, know. And you can become that hope, or you can become the Bible that they never read.
Lead by example.
There you go.
know.
Yeah.
And so many people I know, just personally, just growing up here. In a small town, because it's a very Christian, area.
Bible Belt, they call it.
The Bible Belt. Now, we certainly have other religions and faiths, but it is very Christian. And just growing up, I've noticed quite a few people that they claim to be Christian, but I know atheists who act more like Christ than they do. You know what I'm saying?
And it's kind of like because it's hard to help my unbelief.
Exactly.
I believe, but I don't see the tangible. I don't see the manifestation. And so I believe that this is the season that we will see manifestation.
Yes.
And that what our grandmother prayed for years ago would now be that transformation. So only being back for a month, I have a lot of work ahead of me.
Yes.
And so it's just, but prayer can change things. And I believe that we can, as a young people, we can unite a community back to prayer and see God do some amazing things.
I love it. And what would you like the public to know about New Beginnings?
New Beginnings, that is not just a church, but it's a place of hope and restoration for all people. To see somebody's life better than it was yesterday, that God is not looking for your perfections. He's not looking for me to be perfect, but to become a better person than I was the day before. And if we can get that message back, that there's no judgment, there's no condemnation in Jesus, there is the love of God. And so many people have lost trust within the church, within Christianity, within that ram of believers. And so restoring that, and that New Beginnings Community Church with an S, New Beginnings, stating that God gives us over and over and over and over so many new beginnings.
Yes.
And you may have had a new beginning in the last season, but now is another new beginning. It's another opportunity to start over again, open up your new business, dream again, go back to school. So this is what New Beginnings is all about, restoring hope in the lives of all people.
I love that. And I like what you said about it's a new, you may have gotten something, and it's going to be a new beginning. So each time, and I always liked the saying, if you were done with everything you needed to do in this life, you would be dead by now. Like,
but
if you're still alive, then that means you have some more things to do.
You got to press harder.
You got to press harder and go to that next level. I like that. Yeah. So what do you guys need the most right now?
So right now, New Beginnings Church, we are reaching out to different partners in any way to help with just with any supplies for the youth.
Like what kinds of supplies?
Anything would consider for children. Table, we have a company, Compton, in Lafayette has donated tables and chairs and computers and desks, and just amazing their support. And so I'm grateful for that. And so if anything that you have that can be a support to helping us transform the community. Any help, do need help. Eventually in the summertime when it does warm up, we'll continue our community redevelopment, cleaning up, and we're going to need any of you have a landscaping company or would like to help us beautify the community and be that part of transformation and change. It's definitely exciting. Also, in the community, just support us in prayer, prayer and just coming together and believing that God is still able to do something great and amazing.
I love it. And I don't think y'all have to wait for the weather to warm up. I mean, if you want to get warm, go work outside. You'll get warm soon, Wear a little hoodie and just some work. You'll be taking the hoodie off, and hey, it's going to be a high of 70 today. I'm going to work in the 70. So what's your main wish for New Beginnings and the community as a whole? Where do you see it in the future?
In New Beginnings, in 10 years from now, to make some changes, to have made changes in Ville Platte that was not seen before, not heard of before, was prayed for but not thought of, to bring ideas and just to help even the young people. I was a problem child in high school one time, elementary school, and to come back now that God has transformed my life, to come back and see that the behavior in the school system. We have many young people that are raising themselves here in Ville Platte and in the surrounding areas, that this would have an impact on them.
That's wonderful. And before we go, if somebody wants to volunteer, how do they get in touch with you? And
so they can go to New Beginnings, www.newlifefire.com, and they can also email us at nlfirevp@gmail.com. Also, we have PayPal at our email on our website and our Cash App as well.
Okay, and where's New Beginnings located again?
New Beginnings now we're located, temporary location, which will become the Young Adult Lounge for Ville Platte, a Young Adult Christian Lounge. We are located now there at 6452 Pine Point Road. That's the T-Mount Move Road here in Ville Platte.
Well, did you have anything else to add?
No, we just wanted to make sure that, so right now, yes, we are located in the old Washington on Pine Point Road, and then eventually we will be on 724 Cotton Street in the great city of Ville Platte.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pastor San, for being here, and I hope you're going to join us again. We love to see the progress that you and New Beginnings are doing in the community. Amen to that. All right, well, we're going to come back after this on Evangeline Mornings on UGN's Louisiana Television.
Hi, I'm Stephen Crater. I work for Cajun Broadband because I choked on a hot dog. I was heading out of the job in the morning, stopped at the Sunset Liquor Store, grabbed me 2 hot dogs, started driving. A piece of the hot dog got stuck in my throat right here. I actually had to go to the hospital and they had to stretch my esophagus. With my previous employer I was working with at the time, I called them and told them I was going to go to the doctor. The guy asked me to bring a doctor's excuse. It was a big kick to the stomach for me, so I just said, okay, I'll bring you a doctor's excuse, and I quit. And that's whenever I called up Cajun Broadband, told them my situation, and they said, come on down. And we've been hammering out ever since. Each one of my technicians takes pride in their work. It's more of a personal connection between the technician and the customer. So one of my customers called me up. His father was getting into hospice. He had his own house. He had some family members coming down. At his father's house, he had no internet service. So we went ahead, I did a partial install, just put a pipe in the yard, put a dish up, ran internet service to his dad's house for the family members that came down to spend the final days with him. At no charge to the customer, we're actually able to help out people when we can. With the big box companies, you're gonna have to go through all the stuff, get with a dispatcher, line up a technician, do the full install and get charged an arm and a leg just for 2 weeks of service. That just made our day just to help out.
Hey, you can check out Louisiana Television on UGN Broadcasting by downloading the app on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and all mobile devices. From Mardi Gras to Gumbo, Zydeco, and our 400 festivals, what other state can you go in and see a world of yesterday and today in the same blink of an eye? From LSU sports to Bayou Classic, Creole Cajun cuisine, Louisiana Television has it all. And we're proud of Louisiana Television and Louisiana Now.
Hi, this is Trevor Cause, and you're watching Louisiana Television Channel.
Be strong and courageous. That's the message Jesus has for you if you're injured or ill. Keep your eyes on Christ and let us at Fontenot Physical Therapy and Fontenot Physical Therapy West help you run the race. Fear is useless. Just trust in Jesus and let us help you have hope in your future. Have a happy new year and God bless you.
Welcome back to Evangeline Mornings. Let's take a look at what's happening around the community. Ville Platte's Mercy Regional Medical Center's blood drive will be this Thursday from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. The community blood supply would not be possible without volunteer blood donors. The 16th annual Gumbo Cook-Off will be held Saturday, January 29th from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at 521 East Landry Street in Opelousas. And this year, the benefit is for Zadie Thibodeau, who has a terminal illness called infantile neuroaxonal dystrophy. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. From Sacred Heart Church, Father Colleen will be offering a study on Dr. Brent Pete's new book, Introduction to the Spiritual Life, Walking the Path of Prayer with Jesus. This several-week study will look at topics of prayer and spirituality through the lens of sacred scripture and the church's rich history. Classes will be on Mondays from 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. in the church meeting room. The first class is today. Please contact the church office to sign up for the class, or for more information, call 337-363-2989. And that about wraps it up for our show today. I want to thank all of our guests. And also remember, if you have something you want us to announce, or maybe you want to be a guest on the show, just feel free to shoot me an email. It's ugn.prgm@gmail.com. And like I said, we're going to have a great season this coming few weeks or so that we're going to be filming the show. Lots of special guests coming on. And we also have a little partnership with United Way of St. Landry Evangeline. We'll tell you more about that later on. So thank you again to all of our wonderful guests today. And I hope 2022 is going to be a wonderful year for you and your loved ones. God bless everyone. This is Nancy Kay saying so long, bonjour, and bon temps, mes amis.